It's like a personal weather cast.
This is a personal weather
just
cast
for
tonight.
you, Bill.
Just for Bill Cawley. So here's the story. Deep tropical. I want to explain to you what in the world happens down in the hill country, okay, and why we don't have that type of flooding up here in North Texas. That doesn't mean we don't have flooding in North Texas, but down in the hill country, what took place this week and what takes place, unfortunately, too often and took place last 4th of July is a lot of moisture moving in from the Gulf of Mexico. So when you have the moisture moving up from the Gulf of Mexico, the atmosphere acting like a sponge, usually that sponge is partly full. But this week, it's been nearly saturated. And when it's nearly saturated, the storms that develop, they have an enormous amount of water to produce heavy, heavy rainfall. The heavy rainfall that takes place with storms that aren't moving, normally these storms are moving along at 20 to 40 miles an hour, but now the steering winds this week, they've been aloft, they've been really weak, so these storms are just drifting very slowly. And then you factor in the fact that new storms develop along the same boundary. That is called training. Thunderstorms just running across the same area just hour after hour, and that produces many locations can receive anywhere from 10 to 20 inches over several hours. Throw in the fact that the hill country squeezes out even more moisture just because of the topography. You have that moist Gulf air that encounters the higher elevations along the hill country, along the Balcones escarpment. That air is just forced upward. As it cools, it condenses. As it's forced upward, it can make the rainfall even heavier. This is called orographic enhancement or orographic lift. Then you throw in the rivers down there. There are rocky soils. There's steep slopes in these areas. There's narrow river valleys. And think of the river valleys down there. Instead of most of that rain just soaking into the ground, almost all of it just runs off immediately. We have the Guadalupe down there, we have the Llano River, we have the Nueces, and of course we have the San Saba. Those rivers down there can rise anywhere from 10 to 20 feet in an hour, 10 to 20 feet in an hour in some locations, and that's why this part of Texas is called Flash Flood Alley. Why didn't that happen up here? We did have the humidity in place. We've seen some brief heavy rain, but the deepest tropical moisture stayed farther to the south. The strongest lift was farther to the south. And the storms that we had this week in North Texas, they were moving along much faster in that 20 to 40 mile an hour range. We didn't have the flooding up here. We certainly didn't have the training of the thunderstorms. And right now, other than a couple of clouds, that's it.